Okay, so I'm usually pretty good about reviewing movies either a couple weeks or a couple days or a couple months after they come out. In this instance, I'm reviewing a movie from 3 years ago, which is like a little bit long, like a little bit further in the past than I normally would. And it's definitely not a movie that's like a modern classic by any stretch of the imagination. It's a 2022 horror film. It's called Smile. This was also a movie that somebody like insisted that I watch, and I'm finally got around to doing that. So here is my review of Smile. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Before we get started, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know whenever I post new content. You can follow me on X, Rumble, and Instagram. I'm on all those social medias. You can find me there. It's pretty easy to locate me. Okay. So I'm going to start with what I liked about this movie, and then I'm going to talk about what I didn't like. Overall summation of the film is I thought it was fine. I think it has some pretty significant problems with it that aren't like inherent to the presentation. And I'll get into those. But what I liked, I think this movie does some really interesting things with music and camera work. Some of that is really unique and interesting. Movie looks great. All the performances I think are actually really good. I don't think there's like a standout moment where I'm like, oh, this person is not necessarily a capable actor. I think everybody in this kind of does their best, and I have no real critiques of that. Sosie Bacon is a fairly good actress for what she's asked to do. She's very good at playing like the grief-stricken, sad person, which we've seen in lots of movies, whether it's The Babadook or Longlegs. We've seen this type of role performed a million times before, and she's perfectly capable of slotting into this role and doing a good job. So all the performances in it are overall very fine. A couple like recognizable actors and actresses, but the performances I think are all really good. So the movie does have that going for it. I mentioned the blocking and kind of the camera work. I think that's also, it's really good in the beginning. And then about halfway through the movie, probably not halfway, maybe like 25 minutes into the movie, 20 minutes into the movie, it seems like they just forget all of that. And then it just becomes kind of like typical modern horror movie. And that's fine, but you do these cool, unique things in the beginning. And then it's kind of like, okay, we're just going to abandon all that and go back to like stereotypical psychological thriller horror movie. So that's what I liked. I think overall the story is fine. The biggest challenge I have with it is also the story. This type of film has been done like a million times before. And the premise, like the title of the movie and the whole premise is kind of a MacGuffin and something that drives the plot forward in and of itself. And that's the whole like smile aspect of ultimately what becomes and is revealed as like this creature. I think it's not interesting enough to like drive the concept on its own. And yeah, like a movie about an aggrieved individual who has a big case of the SADS, and that is like impacting them psychologically, and it causes like this horror monster to basically show up, is like a thing we've simply seen this before, and we've seen it done better. So there's elements of it that feel kind of like a cheap knockoff of something better, and that I at no point was I ever like, oh my gosh, I'm surprised by what's happening in this movie, specifically because I've seen it before. So that's a critique I have. But also, like, for a monster movie, if you're going to have like a big reveal of the monster, it needs to be more than what this movie does, which is maybe 10 seconds. I think at the most, maybe 10, 15 seconds we see of the monster, and that's it. That's it. There's like the monster reveal, and then the movie is over. It also has like a really, really predictable ending, and I think if you're going to make a movie like this that ultimately is a slow burn until it's not, you really have to nail the ending, and it needs to be kind of bonkers. This movie is also like just pushing 2 hours, which for this type of movie feels a little long. And I was a little bit surprised that I felt myself looking at the time and wondering like when this movie was going to wrap things up, because it just takes so much time, not just to get going, but it does that thing where it has a bunch of unnecessary scenes that really don't contribute anything to the plot of the movie. They just kind of drag things out. And when you're leading towards what should be an explosive conclusion, that's fine. But if that conclusion doesn't come, then I feel like you've wasted my time. And I think Smile has that problem to a certain extent. So I know I'm giving this movie a hard time. I didn't think it was great. I think it's pretty good. I understand what the filmmakers are trying to do here. I wasn't floored by it. I am interested in seeing the sequel, so I'll probably review that next Saturday. So yeah, I didn't hate Smile. I don't really understand the hype that surrounds it. And I've certainly seen movies like this done better elsewhere. So that's what I thought of Smile. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'm here every Saturday at 9 a.m. and I will see you next week. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you then. Bye.